Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're super, super excited to be hosting this nutrition call tonight. Pumped to share what we have been learning the past, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 weeks that we've been doing this protocol. So, fun story. What led us to even go this route was actually something that happened to Justin in February. So, Justin, do you want to share a little bit about
Yeah,
what happened and what kind of prompted this whole thing that we're now sharing with you all?
right. And so basically, in February, we were at Leaders Retreat in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, getting ready to get on the cruise ship. And most of you might probably already know this, but um, I had an appendix attack, like basically, and so I was supposed to be getting on the ship, I was in the emergency room and stayed in the hospital for 3 days while the family was living their best life on the boat. And so, anyway, everything was routine, nothing abnormal. But since I left, I've had just really weird symptoms. Like, I don't know, sometimes you don't know, and we can get into a little bit of this later, but my body did not respond well to the anesthesia, to the pain medication, to, um, what else? Antibiotics that I was on, and the hospital I was in was hell, I just wouldn't go there again. It was a really messed up deal. But and so basically these last 4 months, we've just been working through a lot of weird symptoms that I've been having. I feel like in many ways, I'm getting way healthier, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I just have these weird symptoms, and so that just all these, like a neuropathy sort of thing. If you want to know what they are, it's like my hands, feet, legs, arms, and was the side of my face is like tingly, numb, all these things. So we've been working through all that, and we decided we were going to different protocols, different people, like anybody that would listen. I was asking them questions like, hey, what should I do? And then finally we landed on a functional medicine doctor and his wife, who, what they do is they basically look at everything. Every sample you can think of, they take, and then even more. And they look at your environment, they look at relationships, they look at different stressors in your life. They look at the whole picture. And as we've been going through this protocol, I mean, that's the reason we went, and Megan went with me. So we are celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary by going to a functional medicine clinic. And so, because hey, we want to be dialed in for the second half of life. I mean, we have a lot of things left to do, and so we want to be as healthy as possible. And so that's really what kicked all this off, was just looking for answers and calling people, anybody that would listen. And this is where we ended up. And so
Yeah. So
there
I
you are.
said, well, if you're going to go seek out a third party and go the functional medicine route, like I'm going to go too, because I want to know if there's anything that I need to be working on. And, once you hit your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, I mean, there's just some things that can pop up, even with, as much as we work on being healthy and intentional,
Mhm.
things can pop up. Because let's face it, we live in a fallen world. We live on the earth side of heaven. We're not in
Right.
glory yet. So there's more things to learn. I think the thing to remember is that our health is a journey and it's not a destination. And so we're always learning. We're always going to be learning and trying to do better and learning from each other. So
Mhm.
um, the goal with this is to kick off a 30-day boot camp, for lack of a better word.
Mhm.
It is intense, and so some of you may decide after you listen to what we share on here that like I'm out. I don't have bandwidth for that this month. Totally fine. You're not going to hurt our feelings. Like we are just providing it if it would be helpful to you and your health goals. We will actually be kicking off in a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, next Monday. So we will share some more info on how to join that group and all the things at the end of this call. But it's important that you prepare this week, because we had things that we had to do before we actually kicked off the diet protocol. So I wanted to give everyone time to prepare. You got to prepare a few things. And so the goal is to reduce the overall toxic body burden. And we're going to be taking intentionality in 5 areas. So if you're taking notes, it would be mindset, diet, nutrition, and hydration, environment, movement, and sleep, and then supplementation. Okay, so those 5 areas. But really, the primary focus is diet, nutrition for what we're going to be providing. And another, like the secondary piece that is a really important piece to this is mindset, because if you don't have your mindset in the right place, like this is not going to work for you. You have to like really want it. And there will be some things that I will pop in. I'll probably go live in that group later this week and do with you some exercises that the functional medicine doctor did with us, or the coaches, I guess it would be. She just had us doing some different things, and very valuable. And I was reviewing back over them. It's reminding me how important it is to keep things front and center so we don't forget. Okay. Really fast on the supplementation, and I know probably most of you are already on Plexus supplements. One of the requirements in order to join the actual group would be 100 PV of Plexus products. So if you do not have that ordered yet here this month, you need to go place an order tonight. There's free shipping if your order includes the skin health combo. If you are not on Plexus supplements, please go back to the person that invited you and get with them about your health goals. If you are currently on Plexus supplements and you are having some health symptoms, or you're like feeling like you need to tweak some things, please contact somebody on this call that you know, or that your sponsor, and they would be happy to help troubleshoot with you and give you some info on what we can do to kind of tweak things up if you're not seeing exactly what you want to see on the supplementation end of things. Because it's not just one thing, you guys, okay? I feel this very strongly, that you cannot out supplement a subpar diet. I don't want to say a bad diet, but like a diet that's maybe 80-20. Like you have to be eating more nutritious food more than 80% of the time. Okay. Even a 90-10, 10% of your diet being bad and crappy is not good. So the goal is, this month is a huge intentional focus on highly nutritious, very nutrient dense foods to feed your cells. All right. So I will also say, Justin and myself, and actually my dad has been doing this with us.
Yeah.
And how many pounds down are you since the middle of May?
Um,
I'm about 8 pounds down since I started. My dad is 9, but 9 pounds down last time I checked, but probably more than that. But more than that, I like how I feel. I feel lighter. I feel mentally clear, and my clothes fit better. I shared this on live earlier today, but I have hung on to some weight since I've had Abigail. Not that you could call it postpartum weight at this point, because she's almost 5. But I mean, I'm in my 40s, and I thought, well, I don't know, things are changing. It's okay. But really, when you're fueling with the right fuel and your body is releasing toxins, you're releasing fat cells. I didn't realize that toxins are actually stored in the fat. And so when your body releases fat, it's actually releasing toxins. So cool fun fact there. Do you have logged? He actually really tracks his weight. I don't track my weight that
I've
fast.
tracked it every day since January 1st. Actually, since December 31st last year. So I've got averages, all the nerdy stuff. But so I was 230 pounds New Year's Eve morning. And then now I'm 195. So 35 pounds. Yeah. Yeah. And so even before all the surgery and stuff, I had lost maybe 5 pounds between New Year's and the end of February. And I was working on it, but after I came home from the hospital, I'm like, okay, I'm going on 49. We need to clean up some stuff here. And so I really got to work on it. And so then I've lost the other 30 pounds since.
But since you've started the diet protocol, do you know? Like
Since I've started this protocol, about 10 pounds.
Okay. All right. But anyways,
So-
I can pretty much guarantee, if you choose to do the diet protocol and you're willing to stick with your supplements and you're willing to
15
stay
pounds.
hydrated. Okay. I thought it was more.
15, yeah, 15.
For him. Such a guy, right? Anyways, I
Hey,
can pretty much guarantee that if you have autoimmunity issues, those will improve. If you have brain fog, insomnia, some hormone imbalances, skin issues, if you're wanting to lose weight, you're dealing with some inflammation and puffiness, this I truly feel this. This is the missing link that a lot of people, we just don't want to go there because we don't want to have to like change our diet and change how we cook and have to think about all the things that that entails. But I'll just say it's been so worth it for us. It's been great to
Yeah.
do it together. So 100% do this with an accountability partner. If it's not your spouse, get someone else in your house or a friend to do it with so you can kind of share notes. All right, we're going to take inventory. So if you guys have a sheet of paper, you can write this down. I want you guys to take inventory of your health goals and I want you to be honest, like brutally honest with yourself. Pop a one in the chat if any of you have some symptoms that are lingering and or health goals that you're working towards. So pop a one in the chat if that's you. I think that post-COVID, things have been wonky and weird. We also, I mean, there can be like infections that are just roam around in your body and cause different issues in different organs. And so don't, I mean, we live in a fallen world. I mean, we travel extensively. So who knows why sometimes stuff pops up, but it's okay. The goal is that we're gonna unburden our body through the things that we can control in those different key areas. So GI tract wise, these are some questions that the doctors asked us when we went to the office, and they asked if we bloat after eating. So catalog this if this is you. If food runs through you after eating, like if you're dealing with like constipation, diarrhea, any of those. Okay. This is a really weird question. I've actually never had this asked to me before, but I thought it was interesting. When you go number 2, does it sink or float? It should sink. And are there food particles in it? That's a sign that you're not assimilating your food and nutrition properly. And are you going, number 2, 1 to 3 times a day? Because as we know, elimination is very important, super key. Okay. Take a peek at your fingernails. Those, if you're seeing white spots, if they're ridged or spoon shaped or cupped, not a good sign. Are you dealing with any skin rashes or like bumps on the back of your arms? Kind of catalog that. Take a peek at your eyebrows. Okay, if you're missing like the outer third or they're thinning or you're noticing like your eyelashes are thinning, that's a sign of thyroid issues. So fun fact. Or if you're noticing that your hair is thinning. Okay, those are all signs that you have some level of your immune system is compromised. And so the first signs of that would be like through our skin, hair, nails, because those are non-essentials. So our body prioritizes things, and so it'll not focus on the non-essential parts, which is like our hair, skin, nails. Okay. Also, this is also a little weird, but if you stick out your tongue, we're not in front of a mirror right now, but if you stick out your tongue and notice that it's coated or actually ridged.
Mhm.
So Justin's was very, very coated and very ridged, but apparently that is actually a sign of inflammation because your tongue and your mouth is the beginning of your digestive system. Okay. And so regardless of why you have the symptoms, I mean, maybe it's an event like Justin's where boom, he had a surgery, like all hell broke loose basically, and his body's like, wow, toxic overload. It is crazy. Okay. So, all right. So that's a little inventory for you guys. If you're starting to have questions, you can kind of keep track of those because we'll try to answer those questions. I'm actually going to use my whiteboard. Justin, you can help me hold it. And
Okay.
I'm going to teach you a little visual of what we learned. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Okay.
Hold it.
Alrighty. So the goal is that we're preventing, oops, you can't even see my face. The goal is that we're preventing chronic illness, or at least postponing it as long as possible, right? And all chronic illness starts with a root cause. All right. And so all of us have, hopefully you guys can see this from the Zoom. I don't even know. Can I see it? I'm such a visual person. Can you guys see it? I'm such a visual person and I like to use the analogies. Okay. So everyone has a tree. All right. Our symptoms may all be a little bit different. Okay. So throw out some symptoms in the chat. What are some symptoms that maybe you've dealt with in the past or dealing with now? Okay, so we'll say like IBS, rashes, migraines, what else? Maybe Hashimoto's,
Sleep.
Sleep, anxiety, PMS, the list goes on and on, right? Okay. Well, the interesting thing is all of the roots are the same. Okay. So we have, I can't write this very well, food, allergies, we have nutrient deficiencies, blood sugar imbalances,
Infection.
and infections. Okay, so those are the 4 roots that create all of the crazy on the top of our trees. Okay, so the goal with it, oh, and before I say that, actually there's rain that comes down and waters these roots and makes the symptoms appear faster and appear stronger. And that rain is the S word, stress. Okay, stress makes everything worse. And so the goal, even this month, is to create some awareness around where we may need to increase or add some boundaries in so that we can reduce stress in our life, even happy stress. Okay, I live with a lot of happy stress. That's what I call it. But the goal is to decrease that. Okay. Also, this is also a vicious cycle as well. So, like, one thing impacts the other thing, which impacts the other thing. And interestingly, the medical model is to deal with all of these symptoms, right, through medications, which is basically a mask. It doesn't actually get to the root issue. And that's the difference between the medical model and functional medicine, which I think is super cool. And I'm so thankful that there are people who are educating and treating the root cause versus just always
Well,
nailing the symptoms.
and a lot of the times the medications to deal with these actually fuel the root problem.
Yes.
It just causes more root issues,
and
and
the
so
effects.
not good.
Yes. Okay. So the goal is that we cut off all of these roots through being intentional with our diet, environment, mindset, exercise, and supplementation. Okay, so isn't that cool? I think it's so fascinating. Now, so when you get rid of the root issues, I don't know if we'll completely be free of stress until we get to heaven,
Probably not.
but it starts to eliminate symptoms, which is the goal. Okay, and then the other analogy that I was going to show you guys really fast is the total body burden, and it's basically like a bucket. And I'm not a very good artist. I'm a musician, not an artist. Okay, but there's the bucket, and here is the faucet. Okay, so there's stuff coming into our bucket all the time. All right, so this is the threshold bucket. All right, so goal is that our threshold is down here and it's low. All right, the reality is that we have toxins coming in. All right, so this is influenced by environment. It's influenced by our lifestyle and diet. Okay, and we probably already all know this, but it's just good to read here. And so think of lifestyle as like high stress, even happy stress, go, 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 bad relationships, toxic friends, the list, bad words, like just words spoken over us or words coming out of our mouth, the bad mindset, like that's all influencing the toxic body burden, adding to the bucket. All right. And so then we have, when it gets so high, the toxic burden, then it starts to overflow and we get like the C word, big name diseases, MS, maybe brain fog, all the symptoms that we had on the tree, right? Migraines, IBS, any sort of GI distress, PMS, hormone issues, imbalances. Okay, and so the goal is to slow down the flow. We're going to slow down the flow that's going into the bucket, which will reduce our overall toxic body burden. And so then when the threshold is lower, guess what? We have a day or we have something crazy happen, we get off our diet plan, maybe there's whatever, a stressful conversation that happens, but it's not making our whole bucket overflow because of that one thing, right? So it's a lot of small things that start to compound. But also, I think it's really interesting to note that the EMFs, I don't know if you guys have heard of that, those are silent toxins. And I think those are contributing also to overall toxic body burden. So we don't have time on this call tonight to like go through all the things where we're looking at our environment and looking at all the things, but in the group, we will be doing some exercises and I'll make some posts about different areas you can look at in your lifestyle, in your environment. Think of, food, air, water. I feel like I took notes on this somewhere, but those areas where where we do have control. We don't have control over everything, but we do have control over some things. And so it's really important where the areas where we can influence, we need to be reducing the toxic body burden. And one last little analogy that the nutrition coach showed us was basically the two-way street. Okay. So you have one street going towards disease and one street going towards health. And so if you have been on the path towards disease and maybe not even realizing it, but making choices that are contributing more to disease than health, the goal is to get on this path and start going in this direction, which again has a compounding effect. And I think the reality is that we're all making choices every single day that are contributing to either one of those paths. Okay. It's, the convenience decisions, the fast paced stuff that we have to do because we got to get the kids here, there, and everywhere. Right. And so every day we're contributing through our choices that we're making, how we spend our money, the purchases that we're making. So just be aware of those things as you're moving forward. Okay. Now we can put that back now.
All right.
Okay, I am going to go ahead and screen share now so you guys can see this. You're probably all wondering like, okay, what does this challenge entail? So we're going to show you guys the general avoidance list that we started about the week before we started the eating plan. Okay, so there's a general avoidance list. We'll talk through that. You're probably going to have to clean out your fridge and your pantry. Okay, it's okay. And again, if this is not for you, you can always come back to this in a different season. All right, the second thing you'll do is a bone broth fast. All right, hardcore, you want to do the hardcore version, you're going to make your own bone broth. You're going to go get to the butcher and get the grass-fed bones and stew it for like 48 hours. Okay, that's what we did. We survived. I know a lot of you people that have done 3-day resets, then this may seem easy peasy. I don't want to say the cheaters version, but another alternative would be if you don't, or if you're not able to, or don't have time to do the bone broth fast, but you're like, I still want to do a 3-day fast, you can do a reset. Okay, go snag a reset tonight from Plexus, and it'll be here in time for you to kick that off. And we'll do that next week. Okay, so we're preparing this week. I'll show you that recipe. And then the third thing is the food protocol. And that's where it gets a little dicey. That's where it gets fun. We'll say it's fun. Again, so much of this is mindset. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Can we see that okay? All right, so the general avoids list is this. Let's see if I can, oops, I'm not going to remove that. All right, so these are the following foods that we recommend avoiding. So you're going to be avoiding dairy. So those of you who use dairy as a source of protein, you will not die. I found out that I'm highly sensitive to dairy, so I'm cutting it out for at least a year. That's what they told me. So we will not die. We will find other options, and it'll be fine. Anything with wheat or gluten is out. Processed, packaged, packaged, prepared foods, lunch meats, any sort of vegetable oils, fried foods high in sugar, no cereals, anything refined with refined carbohydrates, conventionally raised meats. You want to go grass-fed, organic when you can. Know your local farmer. We personally buy meat in bulk, so that is a huge time, and I don't know that it's a money saver, but it's a time saver because we're not having to go to the grocery store and think about buying meat when we go. We already have it in the freezer. If you're local, I can connect you. We can connect you with some good farmers that raise good, healthy meat. All right, you want to avoid farm-raised fish and seafood, alcohol, trans fats, GMOs, food additives. Okay, this is one thing that kind of got me because I was like probably 95% dairy free anyways. But I do like my cheese. I do like some cottage cheese for a fast lunch or whatever. But the dairy free options for pretty much everything has all of these, or sorry, yeah, has either carrageenan or these food gums, which apparently are super bad for your gut. So cut them out. I mean, I had just gone to Trader Joe's and got organic, dairy-free stuff. Not on this plan. Okay. So carrageenan, obviously MSG, sodium nitrate, sodium benzoate, I think is how you pronounce that. Guar gum, xanthan gum, all of that. So you're gonna not eat anything with in a can or a plastic water bottle. So funsies. Okay, why is this not working? Hold on. Let me see if I can delete that. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
All right, this is the food protocol. These will be in printed formats because it's so much easier if you have a printout. I have one in my purse, so when I go grocery shopping, easy peasy. I also have like it screenshotted where I circled for my mom and dad. I circled like what makes sense because like honestly, we don't eat sea vegetables. Like pretty much anything in that second column, we don't consume. And it just kind of made it super simple. So printed and have multiple copies. So you can have one in the fridge, one in your purse. If you're the primary chef in your house, yeah, I mean, half the battle really is when you go to the grocery store, getting what you need. So FYI on that. We've done this for 4 weeks now. So we ended phase 1 and we're moving into phase 2 currently. It's pretty self-explanatory. They encourage actually no ice in your water because the idea is to rest and digest. They want you doing deep breathing exercises. I'll talk more about that in the group. They want you not drinking a ton of water with your foods because you basically dilute your stomach acid, which helps you digest your food. So that, it's important to make sure that you're assimilating your food process properly and not rushing through your meals and just being mindful, right, in all of these things. Okay, basically all of the protein is great. Like we have had no issues on the protein side of things. Just basically a lot of leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables. And then obviously there's the vegetables in moderation. I was so thankful there were sweet potatoes so that at least there was some sort of comfort food, a little more starchy. I do where I cut them in half and put them in a pan of water and bake them. And then I make extra. So that is one of my pro tips is to cook once, eat at least twice. And so then the next day when you put your leftover sweet potatoes in the fridge, you can pop them out, stick them in a hot cast iron skillet with some hot olive oil and basically like pan sear it. And it's like nice and crispy on the top. And then you just sprinkle sea salt. It's actually really good. Okay, berries. I don't eat cranberries or elderberries. So basically we did blueberries, raspberries, and Granny Smith apples for a month. Again, you will not die. It was fine. As long as your fridge is stocked, you're good. Okay, that way you're not reaching for something off plan. Fats and oils. Okay, I found out I'm highly sensitive to dairy, so butter is out of the question. It was so sad. It was a grieving process, but it's okay. Justin can eat all the butter for me. And it's actually when you have, and Angie knows this too, when you have a steak and you give yourself a nice big old side of butter, you're gonna do the Kerrygold grass fed. I mean, Costco has like the 9-pack or whatever. It's very satiating. And the doctor was telling us that our cells actually prefer protein and fat. They actually prefer that. So you're going to feed your cells with that. You're going to nourish with that and then do the veggies and fruits and, to fill in. Okay. I think that's pretty clear. I actually have a printable one that's black and white. So that's easy to utilize. Okay. And then the bone broth, I'll just quickly, whoops, can we still see that? Explain through that. Okay. Alrighty. So the bone broth with its collagen content soothes and helps to restore damaged cells, reducing gut permeability. The mineral and fat content help to nourish and maintain cellular energy, and bone broth can aid in eliminating bad bacteria. A bone broth fast is very beneficial for starving down bad bacteria in the gut so you can re-inoculate with good bacteria post-fast. The bone broth is also beneficial for healing as it gives the body a break. A basic bone broth fast lasts, they said 4 days, but we did 3 and we broke our fast that evening. So we didn't go that next night. So it says try to get in at least 48 hours if you're not used to fasting. You consume nothing but bone broth, though water and herbal tea is fine. So we did it more of like meals. At mealtime, we had our bone broth. If you want to do it more throughout the day, you totally can do that. And so you're basically going to get your bones in the pot, add veggies if you want. You're going to add the apple cider vinegar because that extracts the minerals from the bones, and then you're going to simmer. So chicken bones, 8 to 24 hours, beef bones, 8 to 72. I do think it's really interesting. So the goal is for it to be gelatinized, like a big wiggly gelatinized mixture when you get done. If yours isn't, it may just be that you had more water in yours or didn't cook it as long. They actually told us that beef bone broth is preferred because it's more nutritious. So I thought that was interesting. We actually did both. For variety, I made us chicken broth and beef broth so that we could just have some options there. So yeah, so that's the basic gist with that. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Stop share. Okay, we can see everybody with fasting, but I'll just share another little tip. This bone broth fast was the hardest fast I've ever done, and it was the timing. So if you are a menstruating woman, be mindful of where you're at in your cycle because it can definitely make the fast harder. It's not impossible, but timing wise, I wanted to get it done so we could start this June 1st. But if it's right before your period, it's going to be harder. I mean, ideally, you would want to be fasting in the first half of your cycle. So whoever that applies to, just FYI. Okay, I'm going to actually click this back to the view so I can see all of you. It's really hard to talk on these Zooms when it's in speaker view, in my opinion. Okay. Okay, so that is the basic deal. Some of you may be like, peace out, I'm not doing that. Totally fine. But I know a lot of you wanted to know what we're doing and or are feeling like you need it now. You might need to increase your BioCleanse. You can totally do that. What I found is that with increasing how many, because you're fueling with a lot of fruits and veggies, and mostly vegetables. They don't even want you having that many fruits. A lot of times it can contribute towards, bacterial overgrowth in a bad way in your gut, and so they want you not like limited on the amount of fruits that you're eating. But I found that we're eating so many vegetables that we're not needing extra, like we don't need extra magnesium. Feel free to pop in the chat if you have specific questions. In the Facebook group, we'll be talking more about those specific areas, but if you want me to go over them again, it's mindset, nutrition, exercise, environment, and supplements. A lot of you are saying you need this. Okay, well, we're here for whoever needs it. Yep. Okay, all good. Let's see. Yes, so it's a 3-day bone broth fast, so 2 to 4 days, yes. And then phase 1 is 30 days. Yep. And then I thought, well, if we want to keep going, or maybe there's more people that want to do it, and then we can move into phase 2 and then phase 3. So, I mean, we're good and game for going, like sharing as we go on all of this. And yes, applying to kids. Yep. Kids can do it too. And I feel like I mean, it's just the intentionality piece. Like we're learning, the kids are learning, we're teaching as we go, we're reminding, we have teenagers down to preschool age. So, there's lots of reminders. The protocol, what are we calling this? I have a Facebook group that's called, let's see, I should know this. It's called the Summer Nutrition Reset, but it's basically like a little boot camp. So it's hardcore. There's things that I've had to just grieve, like, oh my goodness, my strawberries are producing my garden and that's not on my list. There's been multiple like events, birthday parties, things like that pop up, and it's like, well, we're doing this, so that means we're not going off plan. And you can be at events and discreetly not have the cake, I promise, and you will not die. You want to talk a little bit real quick about life is a battle and the things that we're learning?
Yeah. So one of the things just really with all this, the whole idea of this thing is just, I mean, Megan and I thought we're pretty healthy people, and we are really.
Yeah.
But just the idea of this is just to get. Our goal is to age well. That's one of our, and we're aging whether we are doing it well or not. So we're like, well, we might as well do it well. And so but one of the things is that I'm just learning that as you get older, like you can't cheat as much. Like you feel it. Like even when we're done with this thing, I won't ever, I don't think, go back to gluten ever. I won't even touch it. I don't even want it. I can't wait to ask for no bun. Like I literally have a flat stomach for the first time in like 20 years. And I'm like, I like this. This is nice. And, and when I was at convention, I mean, I don't think I'm a narcissist by any means, but it was really nice to have people come up and they were like, dude, what are you doing? Like, are you on Ozempic or what? Like, what is the deal? I'm like, no, seriously, I'm just on this protocol. I'm basically just diet because for me, they don't even want me to exercise. And the other day, I love to run. And if it's above 100 degrees and humid, it's my favorite time to run. Like the hotter, the better. I love it. I love it. It's the most relaxing thing to me ever. And it makes me feel productive because you sweat a bunch. But throughout this protocol, for whatever reason, again, like making sure the bucket, like for whatever reason, my body, 49 years of life,
lots of vaccines from the military.
Lots of army vaccines. So who knows? I'll eat, whatever. And so like one of the test groups probably. And so, all these different things. And then the anesthesia, the antibiotics, the pain medication, whatever, for whatever reason, all that stuff just made my bucket overflow. And so I've just been dealing with that. And we're making a lot of progress. But the other day I ran, and I thought, I'm just going to run. Of course, I had a weighted vest on, and it was like 100. So it wasn't like a typical run. It was like a Justin run, and all my symptoms came back. And so it was that little bit of physical stress on my body caused all these things to happen. So I'm like, okay, don't do that until we get all this thing behind us. And so anyway, one thing I'm learning is that if you want to be well, supplementation, and thankfully for us, we have Plexus products and they're absolutely incredible. Nerve has become one of my favorite products actually, but it's to be healthy, it takes work. It like literally, if you want to be good at anything at life, whether it's your health, your business, your relationships, your mindset, your money, your garden, it is a freaking battle. I don't care who you are. Go on the 3-day bone broth fast. It's a battle.
You'll learn what you're made of.
If you're gonna walk with God, whatever it is you're gonna do in life, if you want to be excellent or you want to be successful at it, it is a battle. And I think most of us in America, this is for me also, we're addicted to food. We're addicted to the chemicals. We're addicted to the chemicals they put in food because they cause us to be addicted to them. And the scripture even talks about their God is their belly. And I'm like, I think I might be in that category. So like, I love my carbs, like mac and cheese. The kids had some the other day. I thought, oh my gosh, I thought I was like an addict. And so like, I didn't have any though, by the way, just to let you know, I stood strong. Yeah. So you can do it. We can do this. But honestly, it is a battle. And the other thing too, I was thinking, if we live in an industrial, like we have friends from Africa, from all over the world, and they'll come over here. And one of the things that they would do when they would come is they just wanted to go into Walmart, stand in the produce area, or just stand anywhere and just look at all the stuff that we have. But the interesting thing is 95% of all the stuff we have is literally killing us.
Poison.
It's like, like 95% of the grocery store is literally killing us. It's pretty amazing. We have more than most everybody else, but do we really?
Mhm.
Probably not. And so it's really interesting. We're just learning a lot, and just we want to be healthy. And one of the things is we're believers. We're not ashamed of that. We're not ashamed of the gospel. That's what we do. I think one of the problems is, like, I don't want to, me personally, we can't control everything, but I have been called to take dominion.
Mm.
And there are certain areas of life I can take dominion over. And my physical health and what I put into my pie hole is, I can take dominion over that. And I'm going to. And that's just for going forward. Like I said, I don't think I'll ever go back to half of the other garbage that I've had. And I'm just going to keep battling, because I think that we need seasoned warriors and veterans on the battlefield here into their late ages, showing others how to do it well. And that's one of my goals. I don't want to go down because I like mac and cheese. Like, I really want to be around. I really want to be around and effective on the battlefield, And so this is just one area, the diet piece. There's other things that we'll talk about too. One thing I did want to really mention here really fast is another area. Really, everything comes down to thoughts, words, and actions
Mhm.
in every area of life. All those things that Megan mentioned earlier: mindset, nutrition, exercise, environment, supplementation. Our thoughts, words, and actions affect every single one of those things. I was telling my kids this just the other day. So, any of the things I'm telling you, I've already experimented on all of our kids. And so, like, and they just like, okay, whatever, dad. But, they're also 18, 17, 16. They're bulletproof and haven't been sick yet. Um, when they do, they'll know where to come. And so, but actually they do actually a pretty good job. But our thoughts, words, and actions are extremely important. Um, the things that we say affect,
Mhm.
or the things that we think affect what we say. The things that we say affect what we do. And really, I was talking to someone the other day, maybe Megan, and I've said this for years, but like, her dad used to tell me this a long time ago. We are what we do, and the rest is just religious talk. And so, like, what was it I told you today about that, though? There's something else, like, we are, like, I'll think of it anyway. But our thoughts, words, and actions are extremely important with these things. And so when we talk about environment, yeah, there's some things that we can clean up in our environment: the air, the water, whatever. But really, be careful of who you're listening to,
Even yourself.
even yourself, as you're like, really, really pay attention to those things, because that the emotional side of us as human beings can wreck every area of life, whether it's the physical, financial, spiritual, relational, whatever. The emotional piece of things, like, you can do all these things right. And this is why I love this protocol, because it touches on us as a whole, not just the supplementation piece, which I actually love supplementation, but that's just a piece of
Mhm.
really of us as being healthy people. So I'm excited about all this. I'm excited about all the things I'm learning as a dad, as a husband, as a man. And we're excited to share a ton more stuff with you over the next month.
Yes. Okay. Really fast. Had a call earlier with my girl, my health coach, and she was saying in terms of olive oil, there's a lot of options out there. She just said make sure it's organic. It's in a dark glass bottle, and like cold pressed, first pressed. So in case you had questions like me, go for the green butter because it's the grass fed stuff, good stuff. If as long as you're not allergic to or sensitive to dairy. Also, I use these as like quick little fast meals. You can easily pop this onto some chopped lettuce and whatever, cucumber, whatever, and then a drizzle of olive oil and a squeeze of lemon, sea salt. You're good to go. Super fast and it's very yummy. Delish. I will be sharing meal ideas and all of that good stuff from that sheet. There, I mean, you can get creative. It is very basic, but I think it's just having the awareness that it's very basic. It might get boring, but it's okay. And that I've just been reminding myself that I'm a high octane fuel woman, and that's okay. And I'm not going to be fueling with like my German roots and heritage is like the cheese and the butter and the bread. That's not fueling to my body. It's actually toxic to my body.
Real fast. Again, this may not be for everybody, and if it's not for you, that's okay. We still love you. We're just sharing with people what we're doing, and we just want to help more people.
Yeah.
With what we're doing. If you do choose to do something like this or go along with this over the next month, the sheet, which you'll be able to print off in the group, it'll be able to be printed off. If you take a picture of it and put it on Chat GPT, which is like the most amazing thing ever, they'll give you recipe ideas according to your protocol.
Okay, that's awesome.
It's the greatest, it's the most amazing thing. And so
you can be the chef.
Yeah, well, I'm just the idea guy. So I come up with the ideas and then she makes them happen.
But we share meal plan idea and just because it helps with brain space. That's my biggest thing is like I need it fast because I'm in the mode of making what I usually make.
So yeah, we're going on
variety.
We're taking we'll be 18-year-old son out for his birthday tomorrow night. So we already know right ahead, okay, we can have steak, broccoli, maybe half a sweet potato. So we like
you can have butter.
I can have butter, yes. And so we already have so it actually makes things really easy. I don't even have to look at the menu. I just know exactly, it's actually pretty nice. But
well, and that's one thing too, like eating out. It wasn't that hard. Like we did it last week in Dallas and it was fine. It was fine. We survived. We did pack a lot of food. So if you have specific goals, you just have to make different choices and it's okay. And when you're at a restaurant, they will cook it how you want them to cook it. Like, don't feel weird saying, hey, I need this cooked in butter, or hey, I need a side of butter, or however it needs to be, or if you have to kind of veer off the menu. I totally have done that and it's fine. 12 years ago when I had to do that, it was like I was falling apart emotionally and I have to ask for something different. And it's fine. And they're used to it now. So many people have different eating plans they're having to stick with. Question and answers. Do you still do restoring your supplements like normal? You guys should still do your supplements. Yes.
Yeah.
Still do your normal supplement protocol. If you have specific questions on like, hey, I'm doing this, I don't know if it should still be on that. Feel free to let your sponsor know, or if you're our level 1, let us know and we can help on that end of things. Marion asked, do we need to watch the exercise and physical activities? I don't necessarily think so. Unless you're dealing with like
I'd pay attention to your
issues.
I would pay attention to your body. Like your body. So I would pay attention to that. I mean, we still exercise, we're still very active. Just for me personally, with the things I have going on, like just running with a weighted vest uphill in 100-degree weather isn't like for me right now. And so, but the interesting thing is like, when I was going through all this, a guy called me and he asked me to come to their church, and I did. I felt like I should go, and he prayed over me, and he said, "The Lord gave me a word for you, and that's rest. You need to learn to rest." And I'm like, I don't know how. And so the next day, I talked to the doctor, and he said, "I have a word for you, and it's rest. You need to rest." So like, I'm getting like, oh, that's okay. I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm getting it. And so for me, I mean, so some of this, for me is, it's what I need to do. Currently is to learn to rest. So you could pray for me in light of that, because I don't even know how to do that. And so, but I'm learning. And as far as exercise, yeah, I'd exercise. I just pay attention to your body.
Yeah. Amber asks, she has a neurodivergent child. Any thoughts on this helping? 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing that the functional doctor and the nutrition coaches had said, like all of us, I think, would say, well, we have clean diets until you do this. And then you realize, oh, well,
I'm a habitual snacker.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I had no idea. I love to snack. And so crunch and salt and all the stuff, but not anymore. Not now anyway.
Angie asks, or mentions, ask how they cook the steak. Yeah, that's really important too. Because a lot of times they're using vegetable oil. So And yeah, ask them to use olive oil and just to grill, salt and pepper, and find out if it's butter or margarine.
Yeah, for sure. It's not the same, by the way. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say on this protocol, as much as you can eat at home, do it, because I think a lot of people eat out and it's totally killing their health goals. Like even like once, twice,
Mhm.
3 times a week is too much.
Mhm.
And I know like we're living life and we're just making it work how it works. But if you can cut that down, at least it will help.
Mhm.
Okay, we got to roll because we have another call. But so the invitation to work with us is 2 options. Actually, there's 3 options.
3 options.
4 options. 4
4
requirements.
options.
Number
Tons
one,
of options.
you need to have 100 PV of Plexus products if you don't already. Okay. Number 2, we're asking for a $40 join fee to the Facebook group. I know some of you are already in there. Honor system. Yes.
There's a reason for that. We don't need the money.
No.
Like honestly, we don't. And so like this has nothing to do with income. We might even do something at the end and just give it all back.
Cash.
Like I don't care like about the money. However, there is something about when you put money into something and you have skin in the game, you're more likely to stick with it.
Yeah.
And so really the $40 in for us, it's for you. It may come back to you. I don't know. We might send everybody $40 worth of grass-fed butter. I have no idea, but like it just puts it there's just something to it. And so I think there's a bit higher success rate if there's something in it. It's like $10 a week.
Yeah.
And so since you're not eating out and snacking, like $10 is like it's not that big a deal. But however, if that is a stretch for you because of a certain situation or circumstance, we'll work it out. Not too worried about it.
Okay.
Yep.
Second option or second layer is if you want one-on-one coaching from us, health coaching,
Yep.
we will offer that. That would be $300 for the month. It would include 4 sessions with us, with either of us, whoever you want to pick, or you can do half and half, 45 minutes. We have been working one-on-one weekly with a health coach, and it's been actually really helpful. And I mean, I don't know if the girl's a therapist, but I've been telling her lots of things and it's been actually very helpful. So, anyways, we're offering that if someone feels like they need that level of accountability. And then the other option is you can work with this functional doctor. They see people from all around the United States.
Yep.
You don't have to be local. We can give you the information on that, and it's about $8,000. So, a person.
Yeah.
So if you want to go big commitment, do all the tests, find out all the things, you can do that option. So, all right. Well, we will see you over in the Facebook group. Very excited to kick this off. It'll actually officially start Monday, and we'll be doing the bone broth fast. And we're all adults, so however you guys choose to stay accountable to this, it's your jam. You don't have to do the bone broth fast starting Monday. If it works better for you to start it Sunday or Thursday, we don't care. But we're just providing the accountability and the opportunity to learn what we're learning, and we're excited. Okay. Happy health goals. We'll see you in the group. I'll talk to you guys soon.
See you guys.